table again. You look at the table on page 141 or the sheets handed out today. They are the same, but I use Pali, and there you find English translation. Now in Pali, object is called Aramana, and the Cheta and Cetasikas that take the object is called Aramanika. So Aramanika subject and Aramana object. The first we see Chakku Vijnana. What is Chakku Vijnana? Eye consciousness. So eye consciousness, there are two eye consciousnesses, and they take present visible object or sight as object. And Sota Vijnana, ear consciousness. Two ear consciousnesses take present audible object or sound as object. And then two Ghana Vijnana, nose consciousness. So they take present smell as object. And then two Jihva Vijnana, two tongue consciousnesses, take taste, present taste as object. And Kaya Vijnana, body consciousness. Two body consciousnesses take present tangible object or present touch as object. And then we come to Manodhatu. I hope you remember what Manodhatu is. So, what are Manodhatu? Five sense door adverting and two receiving consciousness. So they are collectively called Manodhatu. So there are three types of consciousness that are called Manodhatu, and they take present five objects. Now present five objects means sometimes they take present visible object, sometimes audible object, and so on. If you remember the thought process, diagram of thought process, in the diagram only Chakku Vijnana is given. So in the place of Chakku Vijnana you can put Sota Vijnana or Ghana Vijnana or Jihva Vijnana or Kaya Vijnana. But these three Manodhatu, receiving and five sense door adverting, are in every one of these five thought processes. So Panchadvara Vachana and two receiving consciousness, Sampatechana, they take present five objects. But Chakku Vijnana takes only present visible object and so on. And next there are Santirana 3, Asitobhada, Kama Vajara, Vipaka 8. Santirana, there are three Santirana Chetas. One accompanied by Somanasa, right? Pleasure. And two accompanied by Upekha, in different feeling. And three Santiranas, one Hasitobhada, one smile producing consciousness, and Kama Vajra Vipaka. You can see Kama Vajra Vipaka on the chart. You will speak?
Yeah.
Yes. So you may point out the three Santiranas, Hasitobhada, smile producing consciousness, and Kama Vajra Vipaka. These 12 take Kama Vajra Chetas, 54 Kama Vajra Chetas, 52 Cetasikas, and 28 Rupas as object. Next group akusala, 12 akusala cetas, the first column, and then kamavachara sobhana jnana vipyuta kusala. So kamavachara kusala jnana vipyuta. 3, 4, 7, 8, right? And kamavachara kiriya, say jnana vipyuta, without knowledge. 3, 4, and 7, 8. So they are 8 plus 12 akusala, we get 20. These 20 types of consciousness take Lokiya Cheta, mundane Chetas, 81 mundane Chetas, 52 Chetasikas, and 28 Rupas plus Panyati, or concepts, as objects. So they take mundane objects as objects. So mundane objects means mundane Chetas, Chetasikas, Rupa, and concepts of Panyati. Now, akusala Chetas, and also those that are without knowledge, cannot take supramundane Chetas, Chetasikas, and Nirvana as objects. So, because simply they are without jnana, without panya, without wisdom. In the commentaries it is said because they are stupid. The word stupid is used to describe that. So because they are not accompanied by wisdom or knowledge, they cannot take lokuttara objects as objects. So they take mundane objects only as objects. Okay, next, kamavachara sobhana jnana samyuta kusala. So kamavachara kusala jnana samyuta. 1, 2, 5, 6. And then kusala abhinya. Now abhinya is 5th jhana. 5th jhana specially developed. So when we say abhinya, we mean the 5th jhana. So kusala abhinya. These 5 chetas take 87 chetas, that is 89 minus arahata magga and arahata phala. Because arahata magga and arahata phala chetas belong to arahants only. And these chetas, the kamavachara sobhana jnana samyuta and kusala abhinya, belong to non-arahants only. So these chetas cannot take arahata magga and arahata phala cheta as objects, simply because they have not attained the arahata magga and arahata phala. So they take actually all objects except arahata magga and arahata phala. So 87 chetas, 52 chetasikas, 28 rupas, nirvana, and panya. Next is kamavachara sobhana jnana sampayukta kiriya. So kamavachara kiriya jnana sampayukta. Again 1, 2, 5, 6. And then kiriya abhinya, 5th jhana kiriya, 1. And vattabhana, which is vattabhana? Manodwara vajana. Yeah. So these 6 take all objects as objects. So 89 chetas, 52 chetasikas, 28 rupas, nibbana, and panyati, or concepts. So all objects as objects. Now, although we say that these chetas take all objects as objects, actually only when they arise in the mind of a Buddha can they take all objects. Otherwise, they cannot take all objects. Okay. And Vattabana. Vattabana also, it is not ordinary Vattabana. It is Vattabana that is associated with Buddha's omniscience. That means that arises in the thought process of omniscience in the mind of the Buddha. Only then it can take all objects. Our Vattabana cannot take all objects. And then second and fourth Arupa Vajra Chetas. So 3 second and 3 fourth, they take Mahakata objects or sublime objects as objects. So Mahakata objects here means just first and third Arupa Vajra Chetas. Now, what are Mahakata objects? Mahakata objects means 27 Mahakata Chetas, that is 15 Rupa Vajra Chetas and 12 Arupa Vajra Chetas. And the Chetasikas going along with them. How many Chetasikas? 35, right? So Mahakata Chetas or the Rupa Vajra Chetas and Arupa Vajra Chetas and Chetasikas. So they are called Mahakata objects. But here, since we are dealing with second and fourth Arupa Vajra Chetas, Mahakata here means just first and third Arupa Vajra Cheta only. And then the next is Rupa Vajra Chetas. There are 15. And then first and third Arupa Vajra Chetas. So altogether 15 plus 6, 21. They take Panyati, a concept, as objects. Detail on different sheet. I don't have a different sheet here with me, but you can look at the table in the manual. So I think we have gone through that table last week. So they take Panyati as objects. Rupa Vajra Chetas, first, second, third, fourth, fifth Jhana Chetas take Kasina Panyati or foulness of the body Panyati and so on. And first Arupa Vajra Cheta takes what as object?
Concept, infinite space.
Infinite space as object. And the third Arupa Vajra Cheta takes nothingness of the first Arupa Vajra Cheta as object. So since they are not ultimate reality, they are called Panyati. So these 21 Chetas take Panyati as object, different Panyatis for different jhana consciousness. And then Lokuttara Chetas, 8 or 40, they take Nibbana as object. Now, let's go back to Santirana Hasito Bara Kama Vajra Vipaka. They take Kama Vajra objects only. Now, Santirana Chetas arise in thought processes of seeing, hearing, and so on. So they take only Kama Vajra as object. And Hasito Bara means smile producing. When an arahant sees something or hears something, that object may produce smiling consciousness in his mind. So Hasito Bara is also said to be produced by, or Hasito Bara is said to take Kama Vajra objects as objects. And then Kama Vajra Vipaka. when they function as the Dharamana, they take Kamavajara objects as objects. And then Akusala. Akusala Cetas can take Jhana Cetas as object, right? Because Lokiya Cetas, they include Jhana Cetas. So it is strange that Akusala, Akusala can take jhanas as objects. Sometimes a person may have a wrong view about jhanas. So it may take jhanas as permanent and so on. And also he may be attached to those jhanas. Those who have attained jhanas may be attached to them. So Akusala Cetas can take jhana Cetas as object. And sometimes a person lost his jhana, and then he was sorry for that. So in that case, his dosa mula Ceta takes jhana as object. So Akusala, even though they are Akusala Cetas, they can take Kamavajara objects and jhana Cetas as objects. And Kamavajara Somana Jnana Vipayuta. Kusala 4 and Kiriya 4. They can also take these all Lokiya Cetas and Kamavajara Cetas and Kamavajara Cetas and Mahagata Cetas as objects, and also they can take 8 Rupa and Panyati as objects, all of them. Sometimes a person may do a meritorious deed, but he may do it without paying much attention. So in that case, his consciousness is not accompanied by jnana. So in that case, the Kamavajara Kusala or Kamavajara Kiriya can be without knowledge, and it can take or Lokiya Cetas and others as object. According to the commentaries, even an arahant may sometimes do a meritorious deed without much seriousness, or when they are very familiar with the jhanas and they reflect upon jhanas, then their consciousness may not be accompanied by knowledge. So even though they are without knowledge, they can take jhanas as objects. And abhinya. Now abhinya is 5th jhana, but it should be developed specially. Not ordinary 5th jhana is called abhinya. So in order to get abhinya, a person has to practice it. A person first has to have all 9 jhanas, and then he goes back to 5th Rupa Vajra jhana and developed it in a different way, so that 5th jhana becomes abhinya. So abhinya is translated as direct knowledge or supernormal knowledge. So when a person gets abhinya, he can remember his past lives, or he can read minds of other people and so on. So here, Kamavajara Sovana Jnana Sampyota, Kusala 4. Since they are Kusala, they arise in which person? They arise in Utujanas, worldlings, and lower ariyas, lower enlightened persons, not arahants, right? So this Jnana Sampyuta Kusala can take Sodapati Magga Sodapatti phala, Sagadagami magga, Sagadagami phala, Anagami magga, Anagami phala as object. How is it possible? The jnana sampayutta kusala of a word link cannot take Sodapatti magga phala, Sagadagami magga phala, Anagami magga phala as object, simply because he has not attained one of these. But after becoming a Sotapanna, immediately after the magga thought process, he reviewed 5 things, right? You remember? What does an enlightened person review? 5 things. Magga, phala, nibbana. Defilements eradicated and defilements remaining. So when he reviews his own magga and his own phala, the reviewing consciousness is one of these jnana sampayutta kusala. So his jnana sampayutta kusala, let's say a Sotapanna's jnana sampayutta kusala, can take his magga citta and his phala citta as object when reviewing. And suppose he gets abhinya. So with the abhinya, he can take the Sotapatti magga and Sotapatti phala citta of another person's object, because they are on the same level. But a Sotapanna cannot take Sagadagami magga and phala or Anagami magga and phala as object, because he has not attained his jhanas. Similarly, a Sagadagami, one who has reached the second stage, reviews his own Sagadagami magga and Sagadagami phala. So when reviewing, he can take his own Sagadagami magga and Sagadagami phala as object. But through abhinya, he can take Sotapatti magga, Sotapatti phala, Sagadagami magga, Sagadagami phala cittas of other persons. Now, immediately before the real abhinya, there is what is called preliminary thought process. During that preliminary thought process, there are these jnana sampayutta kusala cittas. You know, abhinya is not jnana sampayutta kusala citta. I mean, not kama vajra citta, right? Abhinya is rupa vajra citta. But before that abhinya thought process, there is the preliminary thought process. And during that thought process, his mind is bent towards, say, let's say, he wanted to see the citta of another person. So, immediately before the abhinya thought process, that preliminary thought process is bent upon seeing that citta. So, it takes that citta as object also. So, the jnana sampayutta kusala citta of a Sagadagami can take his own magga and phala citta when reviewing, and he can take the Sotapatti magga, phala, Sagadagami magga and phala cittas of other persons at preliminary thought process, and also he can take those cittas by 5th jhana, abhinya, when he gets into the thought process of direct knowledge. Maybe a little confusing, right? Okay, I'll repeat, right? Immediately after enlightenment, a person who has become just enlightened reviews what? Magga, phala, nibbana, defilements destroyed and defilements remaining. Right. So when he reviews, there is reviewing thought process. In that reviewing thought process, one of the four Kamavajara Kusala Jnana Samyutta may arise. So those chetas take his own Magga and Phala as Magga and Phala cheta as object. And later on, when he suppose he gets abhinya, and so with that abhinya, he tries to see the Magga cheta and Phala cheta of other persons. So when he tries to see that, there are two thought processes. First is the preliminary thought process, and then direct knowledge thought process. So during the preliminary thought process, there are one of these four Jnana Samyutta Kusala Ceta. So that is why Jnana Samyutta Kusala Ceta can take the Magga and Phala Cetas of other persons as object. And then when he enters into Abhinya, there is the fifth Rupa Vajra Kusala Ceta. So with that fifth Rupa Vajra Kusala Ceta also, he takes the Magga Ceta and Phala Ceta of other persons as object. So Kamavajra Ceta is accompanied by Jnana, 4, and Kusala Abhinya can take all Cetas except Arahata Magga and Arahata Phala. That is because they are not Arahants, and so they have not attained Arahata Magga and Phala yet. Now when a person becomes an Arahant, immediately after becoming an Arahant, there is also reviewing thought processes, right? So in that case, how many reviewing thought processes? Magga, Phala, Nibbana, and defilements destroyed, but not defilements remaining, because no defilements remain. So these four thought processes arise. During these four thought processes, the consciousness is one of the Kiriya Jnana Sampayutta. First, second, fifth, sixth, right? So one of these Kiriya Jnana Sampayutta. So those consciousnesses take his own, right? Arahata Magga and Arahata Phala as object. And later on, say he has Abhinya. Then in the preliminary thought process, he takes Magga Ceta and Phala Ceta of other persons as object with Kamavajra Kiriya. But in the thought process of Abhinya, he takes those Magga Ceta and Phala Cetas with fifth jhana consciousness. So Kamavajra Sopana Jnana Sampayutta Kiriya, four of them, and Kiriya Abhinya can take all Cetas as object. Even Arahata Phala and Magga and Arahata Phala included. And as I said before, Vachabana or Manodvara Vajana can take all objects, but it is only when it functions as a preliminary consciousness to the omniscience thought process. Only when it arises in the mind of the Buddha, can it take all objects, or Cetas, Cetasikas, Rupas, Nibbana, and Paññāti. Okay, now I want you to look at the Ceta cards or Ceta charts. Okay, now, what is the object of Akusala Cetas?
Lokiya Cita.
Huh?
Lokiya Cita,
So that means Lokiya, Cetas, Cetasikas, Rupa, and Paññāti. Right. Okay, what is the object of two seeing consciousness? present visible object. Two, let's say ear consciousness. Two ear consciousnesses, present audible object. Two nose consciousnesses, present odorous object or smell. And then two tongue consciousnesses, present, let's say taste, present taste. And two body consciousnesses, present touch. Okay. And then we go down with the columns. Two receiving consciousnesses,
All present five.
two receiving consciousnesses,
present five objects.
present five objects, because they are among three monodhatu consciousnesses. And then santirana, three santiranas, three investigating consciousnesses. What is the object of these three? Kama Vachara, 54 Kama Vachara Chetas, 28 Chetasikas and 28 Rupas. Let's go to Kama Vachara Kusala. The first two. Kama Vachara Kusala accompanied by knowledge, Jnana Sampayuga. The object of these two. All objects except Arahata Magga and Arahata Phala. Right. And then the next two. Kama Vachara Kusala not accompanied by knowledge. Lokiya, mundane objects, right? 81 Lokiya Chetas, 52 Chetasikas, 28 Rupas and Panyati. Okay, the next two. Kama Vachara Kusala accompanied by knowledge and accompanied by indifferent feeling. What objects?
87 Chetas.
87 Chetas, Chetasikas, Rupa, Nibbana and Panyati, right? Yes. And the last two, not accompanied by Jnana. Lokiya. Lokiya Cheta, Chetasika, Rupa and Panyati. So that means all except Lokuttara objects. Okay, then the middle column, the 8 Kama Vachara Vipaka Chetas. What object?
Parachita 54.
Kama
Vajra Cheta,
54.
52.
Chetasika and
28.
28 Rupa. Very good. Now we go to Kiriya. The first two accompanied by Jnana. So all objects, right? And then number 3 and 4 not accompanied by Jnana.
87.
87. Is it 87?
80. Oh,
No.
87.
Eh?
It's itself Arahata Magga Phala. 87.
Huh?
Okay. Oh.
Lokiya Cheta. Right?
Lokiya Cheta. Yeah.
Lokiya Cheta, Chetasika, Rupa and Panyati. Okay. And then number 5 and 6. All Chetas. I mean all Chetas and all objects.
Oh, okay.
And number 7 and 8. Lokiya Cheta, Chetasika, Rupa, Panyati concepts. Yes. The others are easy. 15 Rupa Vajra Chetas.
One Panyati.
Let's say Panyati, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then 3 first jhana Arupa Vajra jhana Chetas.
Panyati.
Panyati. What panyati? Infinite space. Yeah. And then the 3 second arupa vajrajana chetas. Mahagata. They take Mahagata object as object. What is Mahagata here? First arupa vajrajana consciousness. And then now the third arupa vajrajana consciousness.
Panyati.
Panyati. What panyati? Nothingness. And then fourth arupa vajrajana.
Kayata.
Right. What is Mahagata here?
Third arupa.
Third arupa vajrajana consciousness. Very good. Then the remaining lokuttara chetas, they take nibbana as object. So, if you do not remember, you go back to the sheet or to the chart and find out from the dots, say, what consciousness take what object. So if you try to apply the table to the chart, I mean to the 121 types of consciousness, you get more acquainted with this consciousness that takes the object. So different chetas take different objects. So not all chetas take just one object. So there are altogether how many kinds of objects? First, 6 kinds, right? What are those 6? Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and Dhamma objects. Now, what are Dhamma objects? Sensitive matter, subtle matter, Chita, Cetasika, Nibbana, Panyati. Very good. Now, the manual says at the end of this subsection, 25 types of consciousness are connected with lower objects. Lower objects means kama vajra objects. So 25 types of consciousness take kama vajra objects as objects. Which are those 25?
23 Vikaka and
So 25 means two eye consciousness, right? 2 ear consciousnesses, 2 nose, 2 tongue, 2 body consciousness, and then Manodhatu, and then Tri Santirana,
16.
and then
5 dollars.
Hasitubana, right?
17.
Do you get 25?
Just 17. Sir.
There must be 25. Yeah? Oh, Kamajra Vibhaga, 8. Right. 8 Kamajra Vibhaga.
Yeah.
Right. So altogether 25. These 25 take Kamavajra objects only as objects. They do not take other objects, just Kamavajra objects. Now, Kamavajra Kusala. Take Kamavajra Kusala, right? Do they take Kamavajra objects as objects?
Yes.
Yes, right? Kamavajra chetas are included in Lokiya chetas or 87 chetas, right? So these consciousnesses take Kamavajra objects as objects and also other objects as objects, right? But the other 25, the previous 25 take Kamavajra objects only as objects. Same with Kamavajra Kriya and so on. Okay. So and then 6 with the sublime. So those types of consciousness which take Mahagata only as object. How many of them are there? 6 of them. Which are the 6? Second, Arubhavajara, 3 second Arubhavajara jhanas and 3 fourth Arubhavajara jhanas. They take only sublime as object. They do not take any other object, right? And 21 with concepts. 21 types of consciousness take concepts only as object. Which are the 21? 15 Rupavajara Chetas, first Arupavajara Chetas, and third Arupavajara Chetas. So these 21 take concepts as objects. And first Rupavajra Jhana takes how many? On the table on page 142, right? 25 kinds of concepts as object. And second jhana chetas take 14 concepts as object and so on. So that is detail. And then 8 with nibbana. Means 8 take nibbana as object. Nibbana only as object. Those are 8 lokuttara chetas. Or we may say 40 lokuttara chetas. So now you see different types of consciousness as different objects. So a consciousness is never without an object. If there is no object, there can be no consciousness. Simply because consciousness is the awareness of the object. So if there is no object, there can be no awareness, and so there can be no consciousness. So consciousness has a kind of object always. And these objects can be divided into different ways, different groups. Like the 6 kinds of objects, or Kamavajara, Mahagata, Lokuttara, Panyati, or we can go into more details, but I will not go into these details now because it will make you confused. Like those that take present objects only, or present, past and future, or those that take ultimate reality only, or those that take panyati only, and so on. So it's like going round and round and round. So if you are not quite familiar, you may get confused. Okay, now you can find out which type of consciousness takes which object. Okay. Now let's go to the next section. Next section is section on bases, vatus. Now what are the 6 bases? They are eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and heart base. If you compare these 6 with 6 doors, you will see that 5 bases and 5 doors correspond to each other, right? The same. So the eye sensitivity is both a door as well as a base. Ear sensitivity is also both door and base and so on. Okay, but the sixth door and the sixth base are different. The sixth door is not matter, not rupa. But which is the sixth door? Manodwara, mind door. What is mind door? Yeah, bhavanga cetas, right? So mind door is not rupa. But here, the sixth base is heart base, so it is also rupa. So here, all bases are rupa, all bases are matter. But in the doors, the 5 doors are matter, but the 6th door is not matter, it is mind. Now, when a type of consciousness arises in beings, say, who have 5 aggregates, then consciousness always needs a material base or a physical support for their arising. Now, seeing consciousness. Only when there is the eye or eye sensitivity can seeing consciousness arise, right? So seeing consciousness has to depend on the eye, say, for its arising. So the eye sensitivity is said to be the base of eye consciousness or seeing consciousness. And this eye consciousness arises through the eye door. So the eye sensitivity serves both as a door and a support or a physical support for the arising of eye consciousness. The same with ear consciousness and so on. Now, what is the difference when we say a consciousness arises through eye door or a consciousness depends upon eye base? Now, if you look at the thought process, diagram of thought process, say the first diagram of thought process, seeing thought process, all types of consciousness included in that thought process arise through eye door, right? So they use the eye door, say, to arise. But not all of them depend on eye sensitivity, right? Only one among them depends upon eye sensitivity. The others depend on heart, right? So that is difference. So all types of consciousness that arise in eye door thought process arise through the eye door. They go through the door of eye, but only one of them depends upon the eye for its arising. The others depend on other base, maybe heart base. So that is the difference. So these bases, since these bases are rupa, they can be found only in realms where there are where there is aggregate of rupa. So these 6 the bases are found in animals, in human beings, in devas, and some of them are found in Brahmas also. So these 6 bases can be found in Kama Vajra. all 6 bases can be found in Kama, Vajra, Loka, sense sphere existences. That means 4 woeful states, 1 human realm, and 6 Deva realms. But in the Brahma world, or Rupa Vajra Loka, Rupa Vajra realm, 3 are missing. They are nose, base, tongue base, and body base. Yeah? Now, those who practice jhana must keep themselves from sense objects. So those who practice jhana actually develop jhana or make the mental development so as to be dispassionate towards sense objects. When they are dispassionate towards sense objects, when they have, let's say, no interest in sense objects, they also have no interest in the organs that take those sense objects as objects. So ordinarily we may say they must not be interested in any of the objects. But the case is not that way. They are not interested in the nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, because they perpetuate or they are conducive to growth of lobha, dosa, and other mental defilements. But they are not interested in seeing and hearing, because with eyes they can see the Buddha, and with ears they can hear the Dhamma. So for seeing the Dhamma and for hearing, for seeing the Buddha and for hearing the Dhamma, they leave these 2 intact. So when they are reborn as Brahmas, these 3 sensitivities are not produced. They are reborn without these 3 kinds of sensitivities. That does not mean that Brahmas do not have noses, tongues, and bodies. They have noses, tongues, and bodies, but they lack the sensitivity in the noses, tongues, and bodies. So they do not experience smell, they do not experience taste, they do not experience touch, but they have bodies more or less like human beings. So they have noses, tongues. Without tongues they cannot talk. So they have tongues and they have bodies. But since they lack sensitivity in these organs, they do not have smelling, tasting, and touch. So these 3 are missing in the Brahmas. That is Rupa Vajra Brahmas. What about Arupa Vajra Brahmas? 0 base. Because they are those who hate Rupa or all kinds of Rupa and anything that is connected with Rupa. So when they are reborn as Chaitas and Chaitasikas only. So no Rupa arises at the moment of rebirth and also all through their lives. So not any one of these 6 bases are found in Arupa Vajra Brahmas. So in Kama Vajra Loka, Kama Vajra realm, all 6 can be found. But in Rupa Vajra Brahmas only, eye, base, ear base, and heart base. Only 3 can be found. But among the Arupa Vajra Brahmas, nothing at all. Again, among the Kama Vajra beings, sometimes there may be not all intact. Those who are born blind, those who are born deaf, may be deficient in eye base or ear base and so on. So they can be deficient. But if a person is to get all bases, then a person who is reborn in the Kamavajra realm has all 6 bases. So these 6 bases serve as a physical support for the consciousness to arise. Different types of consciousness depend on a different base. Now the 6th base is called the heart base. There is always a difficulty with this heart base. And we will have something to talk about when we reach the 6th chapter. Because even in the Abhidhamma itself, or even in the 7th book of Abhidhamma, which is supposed to be the most authoritative, Buddha did not mention the word heart. He said that matter independent on which the mind element and mind consciousness element occur. There is a phrase like that in Patthana. So that means independence on a certain matter, certain material property, mind element and mind consciousness element arise. Buddha did not say independence on heart base. He said independence on a certain, say, type of matter. And that phrase or that word, a certain type of matter, is interpreted by the commentators to mean the heart. And during the time of the Buddha, I think the theory of heart as a base for consciousness was accepted, maybe without questioning. So the commentators take that word, a certain type of material property, to mean the heart base. And also I think there may be some other reasons for them, say, to take the heart as a base for consciousness. Now when you are angry, you have the beating of the heart, right? So when you are sad, you have something, you feel something heavy there, and so that may be caused by the mind affecting its base. So the heart is interpreted to mean a certain type of material property. And also in usage, the word heart is used for mind, often used for mind, right? Even in English, say kind-hearted people or something like that. So there is a connection between heart and consciousness, even in those days. But nowadays, there are some teachers who said, since Buddha did not say specifically that consciousness depends upon the heart, we may as well take the consciousness, we may as well take the brains to be the physical base for consciousness. So this is an open question and we cannot come to a definite conclusion. Okay, so let us accept that there are 6 bases for consciousness: eye base, ear base, nose, tongue, body base, and heart base. Okay. Now we will find out which types of consciousness depend on which base. not so difficult, right? So you may look at the table. Heart base. Which type of consciousness depend upon heart base? You already know that. Without looking at the chart, you know. So, 2 eye consciousnesses. And then ear base, 2 ear consciousnesses. And nose base, 2 nose consciousnesses. Tongue base, 2 tongue consciousnesses. Body base, 2 body consciousnesses. Up till now, it's easy. And then we come to heart base. Now there are 2 kinds of dependence there. So you see the A and the S. A means always. That means they depend upon heart base always. So if there is no heart base, they will not arise, something like that. And S means sometimes. Sometimes means only in Kamavajara and Rupavajara planes, not in Arupavajara plane. Now we will see that. So if you read the diagram from left to right, heart base A, always. What do we find there? Hatred, dosa mula jeta, right? 2 dosa mula jetas. So 2 dosa mula jetas arise on heart base always. Why? Now, if you look at all these types of consciousness, there are altogether 33. All of them do not arise in Arupavajara realm. So those that do not arise in Arupavajara realm always depend on heart base. Then we have to find out why do these types of consciousnesses not arise in Arupavajara realm. Now the first one, the 2 dosa mula jetas. Or dosa is a definite mental hindrance. So in order to get jhana, even Rupavajara jhana, one has to overcome 5 hindrances, which includes dosa, right? So that is why even in the Rupavajara realm, these 2 types of consciousness do not arise. Not because these Brahmas have eradicated these 2 jetas altogether, but because they are born as a Brahmas, and as the force of their jhanas, these 2 jetas do not arise as long as they are there as Brahmas. If they die from that Brahma realm and reborn as a Deva or as a human being, so they may get dosa mula jeta again. But as long as they are Brahmas, these 2 jetas will not arise in them. So even among the Rupavajara, even in the minds of Rupavajara Brahmas, these 2 jetas do not arise. So much less in the minds of Arupavajara Brahmas. So the 2 dosa mula jetas, since they do not arise in Arupavajara Brahmas, they always have to depend upon the heart base. And the next, what are the next? Mind element 3, Panchadvara Vajana and Sampradechana. They arise through what door? Eye door, ear door, nose door, tongue door, body door, right? Only through 5 doors they arise. And 5 doors are 5 rupas, right? And there are no rupas in Arupavajara realm, so they do not arise there. And what about investigation? investigation has different functions. So when they are doing investigating function, they arise through 5 doors. Right? And when they are doing the Dharamana function, then they need Kamavajara object, Kamavajara Javana, and Kamavajara Ram. But Arubhavajara is not Kamavajara. And when they have the function of, the two of them have the function of Patisandhi, Bhuanga and Chuti, they arise only in Kamavajara Ram. So they do not arise in Arubhavajara Ram, and so they always depend on heart base. And then smiling, it's very easy to understand this. If you do not have rupa, you cannot smile. Immaterial Brahmas, the Arubhavajara Brahmas cannot smile. They cannot smile. And then Kamavajara Vipaka, right? As result. So Kamavajara Vipaka 8. They have the function of the Dharamana and Patisandhi, Bhuanga and Chuti, right? So when they have the function of Patisandhi, Bhuanga and Chuti, they arise in Kamavajara world only. And also if they do the function of the Dharamana, again, only Kamavajara. You will find it in the next chapter. For the Dharamana to arise, they need 3 conditions. Kamavajara Javana, Kamavajara being, and Kamavajara object. And what about next? FMS, fine material sphere. 15 Rupa Vajra Chetas. Now 15 Rupa Vajra Chetas take Kasina signs and others, right? They are concepts, but they are connected with Rupa. So Arupa Vajra Brahmas hate Rupa. So when they hate Rupa, they hate anything that is connected with Rupa. So they don't want Rupa Vajra Chetas also. So Rupa Vajra Chetas cannot arise in Arupa Vajra Brahma. So after you are reborn as an Arupa Vajra Brahma, you cannot get into first jhana, second jhana and so on. So they always depend on heart base. Now the last one, stream entry path, Sotapati Magga Cheta. Now Sotapati Magga Cheta cannot arise in the Arupa Vajra Brahma. Why? In order for a person to become a Sotapanna, he always needs instruction from another person, from a Buddha or from another Arahant or from a teacher. If he does not get instructions, he does not know how to practice meditation, and so he will not become a Sotapanna. So in order for a person to become a Sotapanna, he always needs a teacher. He always needs to hear the instruction from a teacher, from a Buddha and other Arahants. So Arupa Vajra Brahmas have no ear. So they cannot hear. Since they cannot hear the instruction, if they are reborn as Putojanas, they will not become enlightened in those realms. Then, what about Buddhas and Pachika Buddhas? Do they need to hear anything from another person? No. It is true that Buddhas and Pachika Buddhas do not need to hear anything from any person. But Buddhas and Pachika Buddhas only arise in human beings. So only human beings can become Buddhas and Pachika Buddhas. Devas will not become Buddhas and Pachika Buddhas. Brahmas will not become Buddhas and Pachika Buddhas. So, Sotapatti Magga Citta cannot arise in the... That is why 4 Arupa Vajra Brahma realms are said to be, it's called Akkhana in Pali. That means, say, unsuitable place or something like that. That means if you are reborn as a Arupa Vajra Brahma and as a Puthujana, you cannot become Ariya there. So it is not supposed to be a good place to be reborn. So these 33 Chaitas cannot arise in the Arupa Vajra Brahmas. And so they are said to depend on heart base always. So whenever they arise, they must have the heart base as their support. Now the other Chaitas, heart base sometimes, they can arise in Arupa Vajra Chaitas as well as in Rupa Vajra and Kama Vajra, Arupa Vajra Ram as well as Kama Vajra Ram, and so they are said to depend on heart base sometimes only. That means when they arise in Kama Vajra and Rupa Vajra planes, they will depend on heart base, and when they arise in the Arupa Vajra Ram, they will not depend on heart base. So there are altogether 42 types of such consciousness. They are Lobha Mula, right? And then Moha Mula, and then Manodwara, Vajana, and then Kama Vajra, Kusala, and then Kama Vajra, Kiriya, and then what is IS? Arupa Vajra. Arupa Vajra, Kusala, Arupa Vajra, Kiriya, and other Subramani, right? Other Subramani Chaitas. So these 42 Chaitas. And on heart base, when they arise in the Kama Vajra and Rupa Vajra planes, and they do not depend on heart base when they arise in Arupa Vajra plane. And then the last one is what? No base. So Arupa Vajra Vipaka, they arise only in Arupa Vajra realm, and so they have no base at all. So we see that Arupa Vajra Kusala and Arupa Vajra Kiriya, they depend on heart base sometimes, right? So when they arise in among human beings, devas, and brahmas, Rupa Brahmas, they depend on heart base. And when they arise in Arupa Vajra Brahmas, they do not depend on heart base. So only Arupa Vajra Vipaka, 4 Arupa Vajra Vipaka Chaitas do not depend on heart base, simply because there is no heart and no Rupa at all. Now you know the basis, right? Okay. How much time do we have? During the first chapter, when we study the Ahituka Chaitas, I gave you some explanation. I don't know whether you remember them. Why are 2 seeing consciousnesses accompanied by Upeka? Right? You remember that? And why are 2 ear, tongue, and nose, tongue consciousness are accompanied by Upeka? And why are body consciousness accompanied by either pain or sukha, right? I think I explained that, right? And did I explain to you why Panchadvara Vajana is accompanied by Ubeka, Santirana, two Santirinas are accompanied by Ubeka, one by Somanasa and so on. Remember? Huh? Now, I think I did not give you the explanation that time, because in order to understand that explanation, you have to understand the basis. Now, if you remember the thought process, the first there are 3 Bhavanga movements, right? And then immediately after the Bhavanga movement, 5 sense door adverting, Panchadvara Vajana. And then seeing consciousness, right? And then receiving, investigating, determining, and the Javana consciousness. Okay. Now, what is the base of Bhavanga Cetas? Right? And also, what is the base of Panchadvara Vajana? Heart base, right? So if you don't remember, look at the chart. And what is the base of seeing consciousness? Eye base. What is the base of receiving, investigating, and so on? Heart base. So the Panchadvara Vajana, 5 sense door adverting Cheta, and eye consciousness, they do not depend on the same base. They depend on different base, right? So when a Cheta has to support another Cheta, it is strong only when it has to support a Cheta with the same base. If it has to support Cheta with a different base, it is said to be weak. So the Panchadvara Vajana's grasping of the object is weak. Since it is weak, there can be no Somanasa or Domanasa, only Ubeka. Right? It has immediately after Bhavanga, it has appeared first. And it has to take the object which is new. So there are three reasons why Panchadvara Vajana is accompanied by Ubeka. It has to arise first. So when you get to a place first, you are not firm yet, right? And then you have to take the object, a new object. So when you get to a new place, again, say you are not firm. And then you have to support the Cheta which has a different base. That means you support a person of a different nationality or something like that, right? So for these 3 reasons, Panchadvara Vajana cannot be accompanied by either Somanasa or Domanasa. So it is accompanied by Ubeka. Again, after Panchadvara Vajana there is Chakku Vijnana, right? Yeah. Chakku Vijnana is accompanied by Ubeka, that I have explained already. So I'll go to Sampradeshana. If you don't remember, you play the tape again. So Sampradeshana, I mean receiving consciousness, its base is heart base. And the base of seeing consciousness is eye base. So they have different bases. So a person who gets support from a person who is not of his own race or something is not so strong. So the Panchadvara, I mean Sampradeshana, is also accompanied by Ubeka. it cannot be accompanied by somanasa or domanasa, because it does not get a strong support, because the consciousness preceding it is depends on a different base, right? Yeah. And then what about Santirana? Santirana also accompanied by Santirana is, if it is very desirable object, it is accompanied by somanasa. And it is just desirable, it is accompanied by upekkha, right? Yeah. And Santirana also is, say, it depends on heart base, right? And Sampadichana also depend on heart base, right? So it is a little strong. But let me see. Right. So it gets support from the Santirana and Sampadichana, which has the same base, and so it is a little strong. So when it is the result of kusala, it is accompanied by upekkha, and when it is the result of kusala, it is accompanied by somanasa. Or when the object is very desirable, it is accompanied by somanasa, and if it is just desirable, it is accompanied by upekkha. Okay, and then Santirana and Vattapana, right? Yeah. Now, Vattapana is Manodvara Vajana. When it is Manodvara Vajana, it has to take the object first. Because in the mind or thought process, instead of Panchadvara Vajana, there is Manodvara Vajana. So it has to come first and then take the object first. So, and then after Manodvara is what? Javana. Although they depend on the same base, they are of different categories. The Manodvara Vajana belongs to Ahituka, and the Javanas belong to Kusala and Akusala. Kusala, Akusala and Kiriya. So it has some kind of concern to support the following consciousness, which is not of the same genus, which is not of the same race. So it is not so strong, and so it is also accompanied by upekkha, right? Panchadvara Vajana and Manodvara Vajana both are accompanied by upekkha. Right? So in order to understand these explanations, you need to understand the basis. Now, in the manual, it should be known that in the sensuous plane, 7 elements are dependent on the 6 bases. Now, Chaitas are divided into elements. Eye consciousness element, ear consciousness element, and so on. And the last one is, wait a minute, say eye consciousness element, ear consciousness element, nose consciousness element, tongue consciousness element, body consciousness element, and then mind element, and mind consciousness element. it is strange to have these two words, mind consciousness element, but they are called this way. So there are 7 kinds of consciousness elements. In Pali they are called Vijnana Dhatu. So sometimes these terms are used. So it is good to be familiar with these terms also. So 2 seeing consciousness are called eye consciousness element. The same with ear and so on. And then we know mind element, there are 3. And the rest, altogether 76, are called mind consciousness element. So they are in Pali, Chakku Vijnana Dhatu, Sota Vijnana Dhatu, Ghana Vijnana Dhatu, Jihva Vijnana Dhatu, Kaya Vijnana Dhatu, Mano Dhatu, Mano Vijnana Dhatu. So these 7 elements depend on the 6 bases. That is just a general statement. So that means all consciousness depend on the 6 bases. In the fine material plane, 4 are dependent on 3 bases. 4 elements are dependent on 3 bases. What are the 3 bases? Brahmas. What are the 3 bases? Eye,
ear, body.
heart. And then 4 elements. What are the 4? Eye consciousness element, ear consciousness element, mind element, mind consciousness element. Right. So in the fine material plane, 4 are dependent on 3 bases. In the immaterial plane, the one single element is not dependent on any. What is the one single element?
Mind consciousness.
The last one. Mind consciousness element. It's not dependent on any. So no base. And then 43 types of consciousness arise dependent on a base. 43 depend on a base. A base may be eye base or ear base and so on. So which are the 43? Consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness. And then 33 consciousness that depend on heart base. Oh no, I mean 43 arise dependent on a base. Oh yes. 10 plus 33, 43. Yeah. 42 arise with or without a base. That means the 42 in the chart, heart base sometimes. And then the immaterial resultants arise without any base. So they are without base. So now we come to the end of the 3rd chapter. So 3rd chapter deals with what? Vedana, and then root, functions, doors, objects, bases, right? Yeah. So for today's lesson, you may make cards like this. So these 2 Chakravatu, 2 Sotavatu, 2 and so on. So Unangisena make these cards. Now, I wonder whether you have put the colors in the cards, like with Vitaka, with Vichara. Have you put the colors in there? Very good. But those who haven't, Don't be sorry. So I have ready-made cards now. There are some more to come. We take one each. And then you have the 3 chapters at a glance, right? So that is for easy reference. So it's very convenient. So you understand one time checking Abhidhamma from different angles. So many dividers have been made so that you are not lost. So you glance, or you can depend on these cards. So and any one of them will be very helpful. Oh, what is this? It begins with moha area. So now I want you to check these cards. There are 40 cards. So if there are more than 40, please return the duplicate card. Sometimes we may pick up 2 cards and we didn't know. And if you have fewer than 40, please let me know which is missing. So these cards are for say Cetasikas and function and dwaras. There are some more for dwaras, not yet complete. And that is a spelling error. But I don't think they are important. Or dwara. Huh? You know the spelling of dwara. So if it is not dwara, it is wrong. Sota dwara. The spelling is wrong. And Panyendriya also, instead of M, there is an M. Otherwise, I don't know. Okay, now you have the 3 chapters at a glance, we have cards, we have handout, right? A lot. If you don't understand, if you're not familiar with the Abhidhamma, it's not my fault. Okay, any questions?
I have a question back to the previous lesson.
Yes.
You know, when we look at the combination of Chitta and Cetasika, we have Hasitupada and we need the Viriya. In the Buddha Arahant, when they smile, there is Cetasika Viriya. For the Panchabara, I said Virya, yeah, right. So for Antijana, there is no Virya. Cetasika.
In the chart?
Yeah.
Oh,
My question is, why Buddha Arahant need Virya to smile? And when they investigate, they don't need Virya. So that's the question. Am I making myself?
yes, I understand. Most Aheducators are without virya. I think the only ones, those are with virya are Manodara Vajana and Hasitupa. I'm not sure why they are without virya. I mean, and the two are with virya and the others are without virya. I think Panchadwara Vajana, I mean, the 10 Vijnanatattvas do not need virya because the impact is great or strong. And since these are weak, they have a weak grasp of the object. Maybe they don't need virya. But then the Manodara Vajana is with virya. It precedes the very powerful thought processes, like Manodara thought processes, like the Sammanyuta, I mean omniscience thought processes. So I think virya is needed there. And Hasitopara, there is a kind of virya, maybe to smile.
So now could you explain about the Kasina? They have a 10 in concept and foundness only 10. You didn't explain why I have a 10.
10?
Yeah, 10 Kasina.
10? 10 kasina.
Yeah, and 10 foundness.
10 foundness.
Yeah.
Yes.
You didn't explain why 10.
Oh, you have to go to 9th chapter.
Yeah.
Please turn to page 332. You read the Pali there. Pathavi Kasina, or you read English. The 10 kasinas are, right? Earth kasina, water kasina, fire kasina, air kasina, blue, yellow, red, white, space, and light kasina. So 10 kasinas. And then 10 foulness on the next page. The 10 kinds of foulness are imploded corpse, individual corpse, in corpse, and so on. So there are these 10 kinds of corpses.
And the registration, you said 11 registrations and 8 Vipaka.
11 what?
Registration?
Registration, yes.
Why 11? You take 8, the other one, and 3 in
Yeah,
rootless.
8 Kama Vajra Vipakas and 3 Santilanas.
You didn't explain why the function of registration.
Why they have 2 functions?
Yeah, why they have a function of registration.
Because they follow the javanas. They arise after the javanas. So when they arise after the javanas, they take the object of the javanas. So in that case, they function as the Theravāda. But when they arise in the, as investigation, then they do not have the Theravāda function at that time. So when they follow the jhavanas, they have the function of taking the object of the jhavana, so they are called the Theravāda. But the Sandhiranas have two functions in two places, right? So after receiving, their function is Sandhirana, right? And after jhavana, their function is the Theravāda. So in the thought process, there is a difference.
But when we had prompted and unprompted in the Akusala Chetas, that was from the Tina and Nita. We also have prompted and unprompted in the sense sphere of wholesome consciousness.
Yeah.
But they don't have Tina and Nita.
Right.
What
So-
are they from? Is that
That is why Tina and Mida are called, not that is why. Tina and Mida are called adjuncts. That means they do not arise with every